can go ahead and share screen. So I was able to get Jason and Brooke's Zoom. So this is really cool. We won't get cut off, which will make it nice for the recording purposes. All right, let me. Can you guys, I have everybody muted, so I don't really know. If you all can't see my slides, send me a message or send Chris a message. But I think everybody should be able to see my slides, hopefully. Okay, so tonight's call, we're mainly going to be talking about, make sure nobody messages you because I don't know if everybody can see my slides. Actually, message Jessica and ask her if she can see the slides. Sorry. So tonight's call, we're mainly going to be talking about why hit enrolled. Like, why do we make this big deal about it? You know, why is it such a big thing? It's your first milestone. And how do you earn Team Cycle bonus? And really, I feel like these two go hand in hand. And so a lot of you have participated in the webinar, or as a coach, you've just went in and listened to it. And you've heard me say that, you know, rank advancing really unlocks a larger compensation plan. This is where a majority of mine and Chris's income now comes from. So this is something I think it's important to understand, and that I actually did not understand at all until it randomly started happening. And, you know, when I signed up, Brooke was still learning. And so her and Jason couldn't really fully explain it to us. So we watched 1,000 YouTube videos and we still didn't really get it till it started happening. So don't feel like, you know, once you get off this call, you're still lost. That's okay. I'm happy to still answer questions, but as it starts to happen to you, it really starts to click. But I really hope that this call will help everybody fully understand it. All right, so I'm going to start with the basics. You have to, you know, your first approach or your first milestone in your business is being an Emerald coach. And so that's you plus 2. Now, it's not just signing up 2 people. They have to be in specific locations and they have to be active. So when I say active, that means they have to have either made a $50 purchase that gives them 50 PV, or they've had to sell a $50 purchase. Now, it's not always $50, but usually that's the range that gives you 50 personal volume points. So if somebody signs up with you and signs up with a challenge pack, typically those are 105 and more. So they're going to be active right away. So you have to have an active coach on your right leg and an active coach on your left leg. So this is where placement is really important and where you're going to want the help of your sponsor when you start to sign people up. All right, so this is when we start to talk about weak leg versus strong leg. And like I said, you're going to ask your sponsor to know which leg is your weak leg and strong leg. Especially as a new coach, you're going to have no clue what this means or where it's at. But if you ask your sponsor, they have a nice bird's eye view of exactly what your organization looks like, and they can tell you where your weak leg is and where your strong leg is, okay? When you do sign up, either, you know, a spouse, partner, or your parent, they'll actually want to go to your weak leg. And this is how you would build to build a more stable foundation, and that's going to be better for you financially in your future, okay? So that's the important part. That's why you don't want to just like sign somebody up randomly. Now, if you do sign somebody up randomly and you message your sponsor, hey, I just got somebody signed up and they're already on this leg and they're not on the right spot, it's okay. We have 3 days to change it. So it's time sensitive, but it can be changed. The correction can be made. All right. So just a kind of really quick, Coach Caleb explains the weak leg versus strong leg so well. I actually have it implemented into our new coach training. But he does a great YouTube video. You can go onto YouTube and Google Coach Caleb downline legs. And this image that I have right there in the middle will pop up. That's the video you want to watch. Great video. Like I said, it does now go into our new coach training. So if you're a new coach, it's going to be posted there this week or next week. But basically, when you go in, when you sign up with a coach, you get signed up and you have two legs. And you have one leg that is actually an extension of them. And that extension of them is considered your strong leg. And that's a leg that your sponsoring coach, but also coaches above them, will help you build. So if you went in to look at your organization and see, basically kind of take a look at the geographical layout of it, you're going to notice that you have a bunch of coaches on one leg. And you're like, okay, I haven't signed anybody up. Where do these people come from? That's your strong leg. That's the leg that your coach is helping you with. And I can show that to you guys here at the end, where to look at that. Because it's kind of interesting to already see if you have coaches signed up underneath of you. I always thought that was cool to be like, oh, I got a new person signed up underneath of me, even though I don't know who they are. So go and watch this video if you need a little more clarification on that. So why do you want to reach Emerald ASAP? You are not eligible for a team cycle bonus until then. So every single week that strong leg, because your weak leg's not going to be doing anything if you don't have anyone sign up on it, but every single week that strong leg is accumulating volume. So sales are coaches that are underneath of you are either buying things themselves or they're producing sales. That creates a volume on that leg. And every week that you're not Emerald, you flush that volume. It does not get saved. It's gone. You've lost it. So you lose income every single week you are not an Emerald coach. So that's why we try to emphasize becoming Emerald right away and why it's so crucial. And so when I signed up, I didn't know why it was important, but my sponsor's like, you got to sign your husband up. He has to be on your weak leg. And at that time, it was kind of Jason directing me, and I was like, okay. So I signed Chris up, and then he's like, you got to get to Emerald ASAP. So I start making a list of everybody I wanted to ask, and my close friend Jessica said, yes, I want to do this with you. So in just a little over 2 weeks, I became Emerald, which was really cool. And I didn't even know why I was Emerald, but they said get to Emerald, and so I did. So I started to accumulate that volume very early as a coach because I became an Emerald coach almost right away. So you get no carryover when you're not Emerald. So like I said, instead of you saving that volume each week, it gets flushed. Now, if you were able to actually save it, if you're an Emerald coach, it gets turned into what we call carryover. So even though you can't cash it out because you don't have any volume on your weak leg yet on the opposite side, it still saves. It's almost like a savings account. So even though you can't produce any income on it off of it yet, you're saving it. And again, if you're not an Emerald coach, it's a huge amount of income lost each week. Okay, how to build or get there quickly. So of course, the first thing that we talk about, even in new coach training, is you're halfway there once you have your spouse, partner, or your parents signed up, okay? That gets you halfway there. They are also going to be another way of you getting income in the future. So when you sign up your spouse or your parent, I have Chris signed up. He does work the business, but he didn't at first, not really. He was trying to finish our basement. So he wasn't really doing a whole lot of coaching then. But I still went ahead and signed him up because I knew he needed to be the first person I signed up. That was what was going to be important for my business. He had to be at the top. So I had him signed up right away. Now that I have what I call my second business center, which I'm not going to get into that, I have my parents signed up. I have my stepdad signed up. And I am probably getting ready to sign up my mom too. So those are additional businesses that I work. I work my stepdad's business. He's not a coach, but he's going to help me as I get further into this produce more income, okay? So that's your first step. Your second one's invite, 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 okay? Even if you don't know anything about this opportunity, you don't know a lot, you just are excited about it, share that with people. Because when I knew I wanted to be an Emerald coach, I was only 2 weeks into it, and I didn't know a lot about Beachbody. I was just doing my first challenge group. I had just got the 21-day fix. I was still going through my 21 days. I hadn't even completed it. I hadn't even completed training. At that time, we were doing a 30-day training. I hadn't even completed the training, but I created my list of who I wanted to be on my team, who I thought would be awesome coaches, and I asked them. I had 20 people down, and you know how many people said yes? One. One person said yes, but guess what? That's all that I needed. So don't get discouraged if you feel like, well, I've asked 5 people and they all said no. Well, I asked probably actually over 20 people and only one said yes. And I will tell you down the road, majority of those 20 people had either did a challenge group with me or they eventually joined me as a coach. Okay, so don't be scared. Don't let fear get in your way. Just ask people. Asking them to do this opportunity is, and if they say no, don't get offended. They're not upset at you. It may be that they don't fully understand it, or they don't get it. So another thing is you want to use our team webinars. We do once a month. Now, if you're an Emerald coach already and you're in our Push to Diamond group, I think we're going to be doing those every week. So I'll still have the big one for our team, but you guys will have the opportunity to be doing a couple more webinars. But the webinars are great. It takes the pressure off of you guys from trying to explain what the coaching opportunity is. And it allows them to really fully get a scale of what this is. And then the preferred customer method, I use quite often. I even sometimes use it right when I'm signing somebody up to do a challenge group. I'll either use it right at sign up or I'll use it right at the end of the challenge group when they came close to completing their 21 days. So you guys may be like, okay, what's the preferred customer method? I'm not going to go through that right now because we got other info to cover. But if you guys go to our team page, the album section, and if you guys don't know how to access this, if you're on a desktop, it's the pinned post at the very top. So it should see the very first thing you see at the top of our team page shows you how to access the album section. If you're on a mobile device, then I think you're going to click info. And then from info, you're going to click, I think, photos, and then you click album. And it's going to take you to this album section, which is awesome because pretty much it's everything that I find to be important or that's helped me along my coaching journey is in there. I don't hide anything from you guys. The team gets everything. So if you go to albums 28 through 36 and you look at Challenger to Coach, VIP member, that album is going to show you kind of scripts, things that I use when I'm talking about people becoming preferred customers. Basically, a preferred customer is a discount coach. And the reason I use the preferred customer terminology is I was finding that coach was really kind of scaring people off. Even though if I felt they would be an amazing coach in the future, I still think it kind of made them fearful. So I like the preferred customer using that term. But it was also a good way to kind of build the foundation of my team. And when I first started, I did have discount people. I had people that I knew probably wouldn't coach, but they created a foundation for my team until I was able to really find those active coaches, people who wanted to do this with me. All right, so you hit Emerald, now what? So what does that mean? You then begin to save the volume that's earned on your strong and weak legs until you're able to have enough for team cycle bonus. So each week that you earn any kind of volume on your strong leg, and say maybe you have a friend or spouse or whatever sign up on your weak leg and they place an order, or you start placing your prizes through them, or say you have somebody that orders a fitness program, if you have something that doesn't have any Success Club points attached to it, or you've already hit Success Club 10, you want to put all those orders through your spouse's account. Okay, and we're actually going to get into that on next week's call. I'm not going to get into that today. But basically, you will start to accrue volume on that weak leg. And now that you're an Emerald, even if you can't cash it out yet, which I'm going to get into the ratio of cashing it out in just a second, you save it. And so it turns into what we call carryover. So it's like you're creating a savings account, okay? But that doesn't happen until you're Emerald. All right, so where do you go to look for all this information? Let me get a quick drink of water. If you guys ever hear me say COO, that's Coach Online Office. So you go to your Coach Online Office. Everybody should know where this is at. But once you log into there, you go to My Business, My Volume, and first we're going to kind of talk about my carryover volume, okay? So let's go ahead and look at that. So this is actually, I made these slides on Saturday night. So this is my business center. And this is where I was at on Saturday night. I don't have a lot of carryover. I'm just now starting to get a little more carryover on my left leg. And here's something really interesting, guys. If you build a strong team, your weak leg could actually become your strong. So my left leg was my weak leg where Chris is placed. And it's now actually the one that produces the most volume. So I get a little bit of carryover over on that left leg. So this is what my carryover looks like. And you see all these numbers to the left of the circle. I have no idea what they mean. I don't pay attention to them. I only look to that far right where it says carryover LV and carryover RV. That's all I look at. Okay, what to look for the current week. So say you're curious of where your volume is at right now of this week. Now, remember when you're looking at volume, it goes from Thursday to Wednesday. So if you look on a Thursday, you're probably not going to have very high volume numbers. But if you look on Wednesday night, it'll probably be pretty high. And it's probably not updated. So you may even get, like Chris and I will look on Wednesday night and then we'll look the next morning and we even have a little more volume because it wasn't updated on the Coach Online Office yet. So you go to my volume to see that current week and what to look for. So on the far right-hand side, I don't have the whole picture on here, but on the far right-hand side, it says LV and RV, okay? So Saturday night, this is what my current week looked like. Now, I'm going to show you guys my volume progression from when I started as a coach to now. I think is really neat to see. So when you guys go to look at your own numbers, don't be like, oh my God, she's like in the thousands and I have like 50. Because trust me, that's where I started too. So on Saturday night, my left leg had 3,411 volume. My right leg had 2,512. All right. So now we're going to get into talking about team cycle bonus. And this is where I'm going to use my math skills on you guys. So your ratio has to be 100 to 200 equals 1 team cycle bonus. Okay. So let's go ahead and kind of do the math on this. What you're going to do is you're going to take the largest number and divide it by 2. You're going to take the smallest number and divide it by 100. Okay. So, and then also I didn't mention on the ratio 100 to 200 equals 1 team cycle. As an Emerald coach, you get $14 per cycle. As a Ruby coach, which you guys won't hear me talk very much about Ruby because it usually gets kind of skipped over, but you do earn $16 as a Ruby coach. And as a Diamond, you earn $18 per cycle. All right, so let's get back to the math. So my largest number this current week on Saturday night was 3,411. So I'm going to divide that by 200, and it gives me 17 cycles. Now, it may have given me like 17.6. You can't round up. You got to always round down. So we're going to make it that even number of 17. So 17 cycles. And on my right side, where the smaller number was, I'm going to divide it by 100. So 2,512 divided by 100 is 25 cycles. All right, you guys might be thinking, cool, you got 25 cycles. Well, no, because Beachbody's commission plan works like this. They want you to have a balance. So there's not a balance there. So they're going to say, okay, Danielle, you only get 17 cycles because you don't have 25 on the other side. Okay, so it's always going to be that lower number. That's how many cycles you get. Now, what I want you to remember is that we also have carryover. What about the carryover? So I went and looked on Saturday night, and my carryover was 2,896 on my left leg and 30 on my right leg. So each week, this carryover gets larger and larger and larger, unless you cash it out. And you may notice on my right side, last week I had 75, and then this current week I have 30. Well, I cashed some of it out, so that's why it got smaller. So I always say it's kind of like overdraft. So when Beachbody goes to try and figure my team cycles, they pull from my carryover to use what I need to pay out the rest of the cycles. Kind of like a checkings account. You don't have enough money in your checkings to pay the bill. They're going to pull it from your savings, and they're going to kind of overdraft that for you. So same thing with here. If I don't have enough for my cycles, but they can pull from my carryover, that's what they're going to do. So I'm going to go through and explain that part. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to take the number with the lowest amount of cycles and see if you can get it to match the other number. So my number with the lowest amount of cycles was my left side. I only had 17 cycles. So I need to try and get that number, see if I can get it up with my carryover so I can cash out more cycles, okay? So let's go ahead and add in the carryover. So my left side, my volume for that week on Saturday night was 3,411. My carryover that I had on the left side as of Saturday night was 2,896. So it's a total of 6,307. So that number is what you're going to divide by 200, and it gives me 31 cycles. So you guys are probably thinking, awesome, 31 cycles. Okay, so that's what you cash out. No, I still can't cash out 31 cycles because now it's more than 25. So now I'm at the point where I can cash out 25 cycles. All right, and some of you may be saying, okay, what about that right side when you had 30 over there? What do you do with that? Well, in this case, it's not really going to matter very much because if I take 2,512 and add in 30, it only gives me 2,542. If I divide that by 100, which is what we divided it by earlier, I'm still only going to get 25 cycles. Now, say my right side carryover was 100, and I ended up taking 2,512 plus 100, and I got 2,612. Then I would divide that by 100, and I'd have 26 cycles. So then it would matter. But in this case, that right side volume doesn't matter. I don't have enough carryover to bring that number up. All right, so my breakdown is I had 31 cycles when we added in the carryover from the left side. So I no longer had 17. That's how I got that number to go up. But the opposite side, RV has to have a balance, and it was still at 25. So you can't go over 25 cycles. So at the end of this math equation, 25 cycles is what I ended up being able to cycle on Saturday night. So if I was an Emerald Coach, I would get 25 times $14. That's $350 for the week as of Saturday. As a Ruby Coach, 25 times 16, that's $400. As a Diamond Coach, 25 times 18 is $450. So what I want you guys to notice is if you are stuck at kind of that Emerald rank and you don't rise above, you can see it's $100. I know when you think about $14 compared to $18 is only $4, but when you start to accumulate cycles like this, it's $100. So it's a big deal. It's a really big deal if you do advance to Diamond and then you drop out of Diamond and you become an Emerald Coach again. That week, how Beachbody will figure your cycles is they will only take it times 14. They won't take it times 18 anymore because you drop rank. So dropping ranks, kind of a big deal, and it can be a pretty big income loss. All right, so if I lost you guys, we're gonna revisit it with some simple math really quick. So your ratio is 100 to 200 is one team cycle bonus, being $14, $16, or $18, okay? So if your left side had 1,200 and your right side had 1,000, what are we gonna do? We're gonna take the largest number and divide it by 200. So that's 1,200. So on the left side, I am gonna take 1,200 and divide it by 200. You give me 6 cycles, okay? The right side, I had 1,000. I'm gonna divide it by 100. I got 10 cycles. Awesome, I get to cash out 10 cycles, right? Wrong. You only have 6 cycles. You don't have a 10 cycle balance. You only have 6 cycles at the highest balance point. So that's what you gotta go from. But say we want to go and look at our carryover volume and see how much carryover we have. So we go look at our carryover and we see that for the week we have on the left side 600 and on the right side we have 100. Okay, so cool. What I would do with that number is I would look at the side that I had the least amount of cycles, which was my left, and I would go ahead and add in the carryover. So I would take 1,200 plus that carryover of 600 gives me 1,800. And then again, we're gonna divide it by 200, and that gives me 9 cycles. So we just brought it up. We brought it up from 6 to 9 just by using that carryover that I had. Now again, remember, you don't get that carryover. You actually don't bonus at all unless you're an Emerald or above coach. So, you may be thinking, okay, what do we do with the carryover where I have 100 on the right side? Well, at this point, it doesn't matter because that 100 would obviously bring your cycles up on the right side, but you don't have 10 on the left side. So you got to go with the smallest number. So 9 is as high as we could get it to go. So you're going to take 9 times 14 is 126, 9 times 16 is 144, 9 times 18 is 162. Okay, so that would be your cash out for the week. All right, so what happens when you drop Emerald rank? So when you drop Emerald rank, you no longer earn the volume during that time to be able to cycle. Not only do you not earn the volume, but you miss if you actually did earn a cycle that week, it gets taken away, okay? So it's a loss of income. It's a pretty big deal if you drop Emerald rank. It's a loss of income at that point, and you're not earning any volume, so you're flushing it out every week, okay? If you go inactive, this one's huge. I really try to help all my personally sponsored coaches know if they're going inactive, if I see that they're going inactive, but you guys should be able to see it on your Coach Online office too, and I'll show you in a second where to find that. But it's a total flush of all your volume that you've accumulated since you've started as an Emerald coach. So going inactive is a pretty big deal. It really sucks if that happens because, you know, I've seen coaches where I signed up really early and they've been on my team for a year and a half and they have, at this point, you know, hundreds of thousands of volume points, and then they go inactive and it gets all totally flushed. So that's really kind of a bummer. All right, so my volume over time, I'm gonna go over that in just a second, but I wanted to tell you, we're out of time. We're not really out of time, but I'm gonna go over my volume in just a second. Next week's call, we're gonna talk about how to use your spouse, partner, parent to maximize your income and team cycle bonus. So I didn't wanna put that on this call. It's just too much information. So we'll go over that. My plan is next Sunday night's call. Okay, so let me stop sharing my screen and let me go on to share my Coach Online office. Okay, so this is, I have 2 business centers, and then of course we have Chris's business too. And I will go into what having 2 business centers means next week. I'm not gonna go over that right now. But this kind of shows you, this is where you check your active status. So it says my status active. And this is the home page of your Coach Online office. So my active status, I'm active. It shows you my current rate is 3-star. I'm actually in qualifying for a 4-star, which I should hit that by Thursday, which is really exciting. Anytime you hit a star diamond advancement, you have to go through a 6-week qualifying. So that's what I'm doing right now. And then this shows you my volume. So it will also show you what your current volume is on your left leg and on your right leg. So as you guys can see, Saturday night, I think my left leg had 3,000 and my right leg had 2. So you can already see how, what is it? Monday night, the volumes already went up quite a bit. So you go to my business. Let me also show you, if you guys are wanting to see, which is really kind of cool, if you want to see if you already have coaches underneath of you or what your strong leg looks like, you can go to graphical genealogy, and that's where you're going to see that at. And I would show you guys mine, but it's like a mess. It looks like a mess because I have a lot of coaches on there, but this is kind of what it'll look like. But for you guys, it'll look a lot different. I just have my you can see my whole organization there. All right, so let's go to my volume. I thought this was really cool to look at because, again, I know you guys probably see these big numbers and you're like, wow, I only have this much and she has that. So let me scroll down to the bottom. So I bought my challenge pack on May 28th. I didn't actually receive it until that first week of June. So I always say that I started coaching in June because really May 28th was when I just filled it out online. And you can see the whole month of June. I kind of had, I had 45 right here on my left leg. And that was from when I signed up, my husband, I think. Yeah. And then the right side, I think that's when Jessica signed up. And you can kind of see the accumulation of volume, okay, all the way up. I usually kind of went scattered. I had a lot of zeros, a lot of random 90s, some in the hundreds, some in the 200. So that kind of went on until about October. Okay, so you guys can see that far left-hand side is the dates. The far right-hand side is my left and right side. This middle column right here is my personal volume, what I was producing each week personally. But once I hit October, I signed up my first discount coach. And I had 3 on my team in October. I had 3 people. So it was me, Chris, and Jessica. And I started to occur a little more volume. I think at that time, Jessica was kind of getting going too and really starting her business. So I was starting to get a little bit of volume even from her side, but also my discount coaches signed up. And then at the beginning of November, I signed up a couple more people. A few of them were just discounts. A few of them were like, hey, okay, I'll be a hobby coach and I'll do it here and there. And then you can see when we get into, I'm going to kind of stop it right here at the bottom, December. December was kind of a turning point for me. That's when I became Diamond. November, the end of October, or actually in October, I only had 3 coaches signed up. November, I set a goal that I wanted to be Diamond. And so I worked on that goal all in November, and I hit Diamond towards the end of December. And you can kind of see my volume go up in December. So you see where it's went from being in the hundreds and 200s, where it starts to get into even the 600s and 500s, okay? So then January came around. And when January came around, I was a Diamond coach, and I thought, oh man, this is kind of cool. Like now I have a few more people that aren't just discounts. I have a couple of people that actually want to coach and do some challenge groups with me. They weren't really business builders. They were more hobby coaches and just wanted to pay it forward. But I think that's how we all get our start. So my volume from the team started to go up even more. And so you see all the way up until March. March is when it kind of went crazy. March is when I started hitting the thousands and the 2000s and 1000s. Now, at that point, I was, about 8 months in? About eight, 9 months in. Okay, so it's a slow progression, guys. I mean, don't feel like you should be hitting these high numbers or being in the thousands overnight. I wasn't. I was nowhere near in the thousands in my first, 8 months of business. But in March, we started to build Chris's business at that point. And he started actively coaching more. And he started to really get great coaches on his team, which was cool. And then the team really started to focus a little bit more on being a team. And it wasn't just like hobby coaches and discount coaches. It was people that, now that I was a diamond, I was really becoming more of a leader and learning how to be a leader, because that is definitely a learned skill. I wasn't born a leader. I've actually never considered myself a leader, but when you're placed in that position, you just become one. You learn how. And at that point, from March, it really just kept going up. And in that summer, I decided that, wow, this has really got some potential. I mean, I already knew it, but I think my eyes were more wide open as I seen what the team was able to do and how people were wanting to join me instead of me always having to ask them and explain it to them. I had people coming to me or I had challengers being more excited about wanting to be a coach. So it's a progression. I think when you first get going, people have no clue what you're doing and they don't know what it's about. And this is so new to them. And, I think a lot of people may have thought I would fizzle out, or this is just one of those things that people do online and she'll fizzle out. And I even had my family feel that way. I specifically recall my mom telling me, well, this isn't a job. I mean, it's not like you can quit your job or anything. Yes, my own mom told me that. So for most people, that would pretty much discourage you, and it upset me and, made me sad. But what it really did is it put a fire in me and it pushed me forward. And I said, yes, I'm going to do this. Like, no, I had no desire to make this a full-time job, but when somebody tells me I can't do something, I'm going to do it. That's my personality. So as we get up here closer, you see that the thousands actually go into 4 and 5 and 6. And so one thing I want you guys to notice is right now, you can see in January, it really exploded. So in January, we went from kind of being inconsistent and then getting to the point where we were always usually hitting above 5,000 volume points. Sometimes it would be 10. A couple of times it's been 10 or 7,000 on my weak leg, which is actually on my strong. And in January, I think Chris and I kind of made the decision that we wanted to pull more focus on our team and helping you guys become leaders and training you all to do what we're doing, to see financial success. And we don't want this just for ourselves. Like, it's very fulfilling. I know, a lot of people, get excited and motivated by what they can do with their challengers, by improving their health and fitness and changing their lives that way. But think about how rewarding it is to be able to help somebody financially. And as a coach and as a leader, that's what we're doing. These calls and everything that we put on the team page and information, that's us doing our best to help you guys reach success in your business, because it's fulfilling to us to see you all be able to pay off your debts or cut your hours or be home with your kids or spend more time with your family. So, anytime you're sharing the coaching experience with somebody, don't ever feel like, you're annoying them or they don't want to hear about it or you're scared of what they'll say. Because the amazing thing is that you're offering people this wonderful opportunity. And even though you may not fully see it yet, or even if you are just a hobby coach, imagine if you could sign up somebody that was really wanting to do something with this and really make it a business and change their lives. Just imagine if you could do that for them. So that's a really cool thing. I just want to kind of go off on a tangent with that. But we didn't expect what we have. It was never our goal. And as you can see from my volume, I mean, for 8 months, it wasn't really team focused. It was challenge groups and just want to change people's lives and we want to have fun with it. And we wanted to get healthy ourselves. And then it came to a point where our eyes were wide open and we seen the big picture. And so now our gears kind of switch. And I think every coach that begins this, that happens. It's just the progression.
And, you'd think this is just her business center. So, we have her second and then myself as well with volume, stacked under us.
Yeah. Which will, like next week's call, will explain that a little bit better, how you kind of utilize your spouse and what these second business centers are and how to maximize income by using your spouse's account. I already have a couple of the leaders on the team that I'm personally sponsoring and kind of doing a little more one-on-one mentoring with that are utilizing their spouse currently to help them earn Team Cycle bonus. And so I've been talking with them already, but I really want to kind of share it with the whole team so you can kind of see the bigger picture of how you can use the spouse. And these coaches that are earning Team Cycle bonus from their spouse's account are new coaches. They're coaches that signed up in December, November, December, January. I mean, these are all new coaches. It's not like coaches that have been on the team forever.
For those of you all that listened to the call that I posted the other day with Amy, she was talking about, this is a year-to-year goal thing. We're in it now a year and a half later, and it took us a year to really build a decent, solid foundation. It's a year-to-year goal thing. You have to be working it, each year to have any growth, but you'll see it year to year. It's not day to day. You may see a little month to month, but it's really, in that year to year progression.
And it's your consistency too. So, some people aren't going to grow as fast as I did. Some people are going to grow faster. And I think a lot of our team has a great opportunity to grow faster if they're consistent, because we now know more as your sponsors and can help you better. Not that Brooke and Jason don't know more, but they didn't then, and they'll tell you that. They were learning. They are awesome now because Brooke is like a social media guru. She's learned so much as I've been a coach. But when we first got started, she didn't know a lot. So my progression is probably slower than it could have been. But it may be a lot faster than where, some of you guys will get, because I'm super consistent. I mean, I work my business every single night. That Reese goes to bed. I do it every single night. And it's not because I feel like I have to. It's because I want to. I really like this that much. It's my fun thing to do. It's replaced TV. It's replaced reading books. I listen to PD, by the way. I don't read PD. I rather sit and do Beachbody. I love it. I just get a thrill off of it. So I'm super consistent. And I think, the quote, "Find something you love, you'll never work a day in your life," is 100% true, because that's how I feel about this. I never feel like it's work. And actually tomorrow I spent all week with Reese on spring break. Chris and I spent all day together. But tomorrow I'm like, I'm going to go to a coffee shop and get caught up, because I feel like I'm a little behind. And I'm not upset about it. Like, I'm excited. Like, I get to go to a coffee shop, have some coffee, play on the computer, talk to all the coaches. So it's actually going to be kind of a fun getaway day for me. Now, Thursday, I agreed to fill in at the dental office. And I love being a hygienist, but I'm like, dang, why did I say I would fill in that day? And I know Jessica knows what I mean. But it's just not as fulfilling as coaching. Okay, so I've done enough talking. Let me unmute everybody. Does anybody have questions? Did I lose anybody? And be honest. If I lost you, raise your hand.
No.
I think this is going to be a call that people are going to have to go back and re-listen to. Because I mean, like I said, I'm not a math teacher. I try to do my best, but it is pretty simple math. Once you start to look at it, you get it pretty quickly.
And then once it starts to happen for yourself, really start to break it. And you see, oh, I've got some cycles this week. I'm going to kind of look at your heart and you understand it a lot better. Yourself. But, you know, go back to the video, slow it down a little bit, do the math yourself.
Well, you understand how to make it happen. Like one of the newer coaches, she had messaged me this week. She was like, "Okay, I finally understand how to create now on my spouse's account." Sorry, I'm trying to mute. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I hit mute because we're getting feedback. But she had finally kind of understand how to create income on her spouse's account because she was seeing it happen, and then she figured out how it was happening. And so now she knows when to randomly place an order, or when to order her prizes, or to put a fitness program that somebody's wanting to purchase, or they're wanting to purchase the Energize. She knows that she can put it on her spouse's account and create a cycle that week, which we'll get into that next week. I'm not going to get into that right now. All right, guys. Does anybody have any questions about anything? It doesn't have to be about this.
I think you're going to answer it next call, but then I have been ordering all of like the workout programs through Quentin's account. Like I do my Shakeology in mine, but then I ordered like 21 Day Fix Extreme and the 22-minute Hard Corps through Quentin's. Is that okay then just order like extra things through his account?
Yep, that's what I do. Now, the only thing I tell coaches to remember is if you have the on-demand, with most of us want to keep the on-demand so we can get free leads. But if you have on-demand and you buy a fitness program through your husband's account and he doesn't have it, then you won't be able to do it online. That's the only downer. Because I had actually bought 22-minute hardcore under my stepdad's account when we were buying that for ourselves, and I realized that I had bought it on his and I couldn't get it on my on-demand. So I ended up buying it twice and gave it away as a challenge group price. I bought it again on Chris's account because we have on-demand on his. So that's the only thing you want to think about. You guys have any other questions? No? All right, so next week's team call, we'll talk a little bit more about, and it shouldn't be as long as this one, but we'll talk a little bit more about how you can generate income off your spouse or your partner's account. Okay? All right, everybody have a good night.